Wah, wah.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to The Wise Men. Tonight we're gonna do another.
There we go.
Tonight we're gonna do another Underground episode because we got many things we want to talk about, and none of it really fits in the specific episode, I guess. So tonight's Underground current events. We're gonna be talking El Trumpo. We're gonna be talking possibly some generational theory. We're gonna be talking about a little bit MK Ultra. We're gonna bring it all up. Probably some UFC from Jesse T. Baby. Why not?
Might as well.
Look at him go.
Might as well.
Wait. All right, listen, I need to get better at this. I'm not the best right now, but
Yeah, you fucking suck.
yeah, we'll get better with the air horn.
Whoops. I didn't say that.
Yeah, but welcome
So
everyone.
what?
So yeah, you saw the thumbnail. It's Trump time. It's time to talk about this. What are y'all's thoughts?
Well, for those of you living under a rock, on Saturday in Pennsylvania, our 45th president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, was attempted assassinated. I said it that way so we don't get blocked. I don't know if that's how that works.
Right.
But he got assin.
Ass.
I don't know if that fit, but hey, we're working it.
Yeah. So a guy, a Looney Tunes, climbed up on a roof near his speech, his event up there in Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
and shot him in the ear, right through his ear hole.
With a 223, like with the AR, right? AR-15?
Yes.
Yeah, it was his
an
dad's
AR.
gun. It was his,
Oh, it was his
Yes.
daddy's gun.
supposedly his dad's
Yeah,
gun.
That's what's coming out. Yeah, so actually not in his ear hole, but created a new ear hole for him. Trump is one of the luckiest people currently alive, and I would say, and also that kid was a horrible fucking shot, which is also lucky for Trump.
Yeah, no, for real. It's crazy how if you look at the speech and you see his head movement when he just kind of cockeyes his head like kind of how he always does. He kind of cockeyes his head like this a little bit.
Yeah.
Dude, and boom, right by well, not right by his ear. It actually clipped his ear. hit the guy behind him. That
Yeah, which I heard that guy behind him that died got shot in the head. Fire chief.
Yeah, I heard
no
that too.
way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ex
Oh
fire
my
chief, I think.
gosh.
Or was he a fire chief?
I don't know if he was currently.
I think he was
actively
retired.
serving, but regardless,
Regardless, yeah.
Oh, I
it's one
think
of our boys.
yeah, that's crazy, man. Wow.
Horrible.
That's
Speaking
sad.
about him, and I'm going to jump right into this. Christian had mentioned to me earlier, there's this Amanda Seal chick. Have you guys heard of Amanda Seal? She's like a commentator / actor.
Mm-mm.
She went on Amanda Seal. She's an actress, and let's see. She sent me this video of her. She is an actress and author. Anyways, so she went on like Instagram or something. Went on a rant about how Trump's used a blood piece and it was fake blood and it was a whole staged event and no one really died and Christian says to me, she goes, you know how they took everything from Alex Jones and then they sued him for like $200 trillion or $2.7 trillion or something like that, and they just trying to take all of his assets.
Yes.
That family, that chief's police, that fire chief's family should do the same thing to Amanda Seal and all these other people that claim that he's not really dead or whatever like that. I was like, that's a good idea. Counter strike the other side. Boom. Hit them.
What is
Use
that
their
called?
weapons against them.
What is that called when
What's
you're promoting false information about someone?
Conspiracy
It
theorists.
starts with a D. I think.
Defamation?
Defamation. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. Well, that's what he could go after her or the parents. He's not here anymore, but that sucks, man.
Terrible. Yeah,
Crazy. How does that shooter even get up on the roof? How's there no snipers on that roof? I mean, how's there? Now there was a sniper crew that was behind him that was on top of a barn that was looking right in that direction. I think I sent you guys the video of where like you see the sniper's reaction to the first 3 shots and then they lay fire on the guy. But I'm
Yeah.
like,
So here's I'm
and
gonna
you've
lay
got
out.
squat, you've got
Yeah,
some
so
sweat.
Louis,
You know how to
that's what I
hold.
was like gonna say. Louis, you are actually military tactically trained in some type of way. You do the SWAT deal. What is the deal here, brother?
So I am going to preface this by saying I am still a novice to all this stuff. I'm only been doing this stuff for a couple years. There's
Modest.
many things to learn. I'm not a team leader. I'm not nothing special. I'm just one of the guys. Um, but speaking of like PSD, personal security details, and high value targets, I've done a little bit of training with that. I specifically looked up and watched some videos of some guys who actually really know this stuff and listened to them discuss it because they had a little more information background about what was going on, and they showed some videos and what was happening and this and that. And they brought up, and I mean, I can only really agree with it. I have no real arguments otherwise. But the biggest issue was lack of personnel. And so they had one counter sniper team, which one counter sniper team can't cover everything. So on the ground, this guy was outside of the, I guess, event perimeter, but there was some law enforcement out there that were notified. Like there's a video of people saying, "Hey, there's this guy is
Right.
climbing
This was the
on
guy
this
that was
roof."
interviewed after the fact, wearing the red
Yeah,
shirt or whatever. Yeah.
and they showed some video of it like this where the shooter was climbed a ladder, got on the roof, and he was like low crawling to the ridge of the roof. And they're
People
trying
are
to notify the
screaming,
cops.
right? Yeah,
Yes.
they're screaming like,
Yes.
"Hey!"
Right. Um so with that,
This is wild, dude.
it's not abnormal for like Secret Service to have their smaller team there doing whatever, right? Like they
They're a
are
Pennsylvania small town team.
You would even think though
well,
that like
no, well,
maybe
so
go ahead, sorry.
it's like you have your main team, right? Like the Secret Service has their team, they have their guys, they do all the close stuff. The perimeter, some of the Overwatch, like that's usually assisted by like the locals, like local SWAT team, local law enforcement will be the guys doing some of the outside and the Overwatch stuff. I know our local teams in Orlando has called our team for help, like during the Olympics, when Trump or Biden comes through Orlando, stuff like that. We get tapped sometimes to help for Overwatch, and or be like
Right.
boots on the ground kind of deal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it wasn't just a failure on the Secret Service side. Local law enforcement was definitely there was a failure in that because I heard that there was an officer that went up the ladder. The guy pointed a rifle at this officer, and then the officer like dipped back down and hid.
He fell
Right?
off the ladder, right?
I don't know if he fell or what.
I
But
heard he fell off of the damn ladder.
I mean, but all right. So one guy went up there. Like, where's your radio? You know, you radio. There
Right,
should have
right.
been
There
a
should have been
dozen
shots
officers.
taken, or there should have been
Where's your gun?
snipers should have been
Yeah. So like there should have been a lot that happened prior to the shots being taken. Another thing that I heard was that the rules of engagement for those snipers, they're not allowed to shoot first.
I heard this.
Right? Which in my opinion is the most ridiculous thing.
That's
Like
the most ridiculous thing I ever heard.
I get it. You don't want to like accidentally shoot a person with just some binoculars that's looking from a distance or something.
Very stupid person with binoculars looking from a distance on a roof.
But and it's hard. A single counter sniper team, they might not have had the angle to been able to positively identify a rifle, right? Had there been a second team, which there should have been according to actual experts in this stuff, then they would have had a different angle, would have been able to identify a rifle. Because this guy, so initially I thought missing like that and taking 5 shots and barely even hitting people in the crowd, right? Like this guy must have been rushed. He must have like just climbed up there real quick, sighted in, and just started pulling shots. But this guy had all day. 140-yard shot. Like I don't
It's not
even
that
need to be
far.
laying down. I
Yeah.
could do that standing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From
Yep.
standing, I could
Yep.
hit you in the head.
And it was iron sights too. Even though it was iron sights, it's still not a hard shot.
Oh, iron sights? Yeah, no, I mean if you understand how sights work, you can hit that shot.
Yeah, and
Like I've
the
hit it.
223 is super accurate,
Yeah,
extremely
like
accurate rifle.
I mean, I'm not great. I do a little bit of competitive shooting, some precision stuff, but like proned out with all the time that this guy apparently had, like he had several minutes up there doing this, like sighting in. Uh, iron sights, he should have been able to hit. Like I've hit a 2-inch balloon, a 3-inch balloon at 100 yards, iron sights, prone.
Let's just say it does make sense that this was a 20-year-old kid. His nerves were probably going
Oh,
through
he
the
had bug
roof.
fever all day. He
Yeah.
had
Oh
bug
yeah.
fever. So we'll give him that. He was that first shot. He probably jerked the trigger on top of Trump being lucky and moving.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. He was about a quarter inch from the kill shot.
I did not know that the
So
snipers had to wait to be shot before shooting. That's kind of crazy,
I
man.
I
That
think
doesn't make any sense. I don't believe it.
I mean,
I
that's a
heard
weird
that. I can't
protocol.
confirm. I
Mhm.
can't confirm, but I heard that was their rules of engagement that they have. They had to wait for shots before they could shoot.
Okay, I heard this too. Did you hear about what came out of 4chan?
No.
So what came out of 4chan? Well, shouts out to Jesse on Fire. Jesse on Fire is originally an MMA commentator, like an MMA YouTuber, and he kind of has ventured off into current events. He covered Diddy. He covers all the top current event stuff, like anyone would like to do, ride the wave. But during this whole assassination attempt, he's gained like 20,000 subscribers because he's in Cabo right now with his family and vacation, and he just keeps going live talking about the shooting. And he pulled up a picture that had been leaked, supposedly leaked on 4chan, of the sniper to the left. So there's what, the spotter that's to his right, that's technically the spotter, and then you got the guy that's supposed to actually make the shot probably first to his left.
Well, I think
Anyways, the guy that was on his knee, the guy that wasn't on his belly, the guy that was on his knee. So the guy to the left, the infamous picture that we all have seen. So that sniper supposedly came out and made a statement and said, I had the shooter in my sights for 3 minutes, and top brass at the Secret Service did not let me take the shot for over 3 minutes. And that came out of 4chan, and God knows if that's true or not. I think
I believe it.
I don't doubt it. When I heard that, I go, sounds about right.
Like another thing that was discussed was his close the people that were on him, right? Like his security detail that was on him. How 2 or 3 of them were women, and the issue wasn't necessarily that they were women, but that they were small,
and they didn't seem like they were combat trained.
Well,
right?
I think that
Go ahead, Stevie.
Yeah, I think even like maybe they could have been roughly new. You never know who's like on duty that day, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe they're a 35-year-old 1 year. They haven't really had like a situation where their nerves were like put to the test. Like us, like when we respond to a fire and it's a legit fire and there's dispatches saying there's people inside, like it's a different vibe than and especially when you're on scene and the whole house is on fire. It's you're the way you react can be different than that's why we train so much, so that the way we naturally react is in a proper fashion. But like the thing that when I'm seeing those females, and it's nothing against the females, like there's even females that can do the job better than some men, but I even the one that was on like the front side of Trump when they were all huddled around, like it took her like 10 times to holster her weapon, but like in the first place, why is she trying to holster her weapon? Like I'd be like ready to go. I don't know if there's a second shooter. I don't know if this is like a decoy, and who knows, is the truck good, like that we're gonna get Trump to, have we been fully compromised? If this guy got it, like what's going on here? I'm just thinking of like terrorist style.
And that was brought up. But so like when you do PSD stuff, typically you want your people that are protecting the target, the asset, your
Mhm.
principal is what they call them, the principal. The people protecting the principal should be bigger than him, right? Like
Yep.
you're what you're doing,
Yep.
and it was put this way, and I agree with it, is when you do a detail like that, you're doing that job. You have accepted, like, your job is, you are a bullet sponge, and when you're doing that, you want to be the biggest bullet sponge. You want the biggest bullet sponge you can get,
That's
right?
Oh
exactly
yeah.
what I thought when I saw that
Um,
girl. That's
like,
exactly what I thought.
and some of the video was like shots were fired. She gets in front of Trump, but then she crouches down too. Like,
Yeah.
you're not supposed to crouch unless you're crouching on top of your principal. Like, that's the only
Right.
thing you're supposed, like, you would lay on top of him, like crouching and grabbing him and going. Like, that's the idea. Otherwise, you need to be big. And because, like, Trump was above her, you know? I
Yeah.
think several of them didn't do a good job. You're supposed to grab the principal's belt, you bend him over at the waist, literally, like you're humping him. The one guy that's
Mhm.
supposed to be on him the most, grab his belt, the back of his head, bend him over, and keep his head down. Cover him with your body.
Yep.
The other two, three,
Yep.
4 people who are with you collapse on top of you. They're covering you. Basically, you're
Yeah.
filling gaps, and you're fucking going. You're hauling
Yeah.
ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody respects Trump so much. And I thought that too. And I'm like, I would have grabbed that mother by the back of his collar because he wanted to go out and do this or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wouldn't have let him do that. I'd have been like,
Yeah.
no, buddy,
No.
goodbye. Let's go.
Right.
Yeah.
Out of
Right.
there.
Right.
Boom, out.
I do think though that like Trump maybe did perform the best out of everybody. Like he I think he probably performed the best. He got hit. He was like, "Holy shit, I'm getting down." He got straight down. He knows that whole I don't know, what would you call it? It's all bulletproof right there. And
Hmm.
so he got down right behind it. I think he got up
Damn.
and pumped his fist and kind of like
But that was
gave a
as right before they were going down the stairs. He like
yeah,
popped out
yeah.
of his cover
Well,
and
yeah, and
was
you can
like,
hear, I
"Fight,
don't know if it was
fight,
like
fight!"
Hawkeye or whatever, but whoever was the commander there at that scene, he was like, shoot her down, shoot her down. So I think there was like
Yeah.
a ease of
Yep. I agree.
that this is
Yeah.
might be over. But
Yeah,
still you gotta
exactly.
prepare of like, hold on,
Right.
is there a secondary event
Right.
that's coordinated to take place to, you know, that we're not that we might be running right into, you know what I'm saying? I think
Yep.
that's the best way, like tactically. I'm not gonna say I'm not a terrorist, but I'm saying tactically, like that would be the best way. Like if you wanted to like really take out a city,
Distraction.
I would say cause a huge distraction, pull in all the resources, and then I'm just giving an
Well,
example, like to take down a city or something. Like you
well,
expose all
you
the
know,
resources
Some
to take
Batman
it
type
down.
of stuff.
not
Start flooding the city with
Yes.
gas like the Scarecrow.
well, not to put myself on any more terrorist lists, but I've thought about this as well because some of the studies and classes I've taken, one of the big concerns is always a secondary explosion or a secondary attack,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly like you said, where like the first one, it's probably devastating, something big happened, but it was
Mhm.
the first one, and it
Right.
was
Hmm.
designed
Right.
specifically to draw other people in. And I
Right.
think about this stuff even at work because of
Absolutely.
some of the crazy stuff. Like, you'll see an accident or something will happen, and you're like, "This is really weird. This can't be it, right?" And so
Right.
I'm like, I'll have my head on a swivel and I'll be like, "I feel like this is an ambush."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know,
100%, dude.
luckily nothing's ever happened, but sometimes you're just on edge, and you're like, I don't like what's going on right now.
Yeah, I get those vibes when like you get those calls where you go to homes, the door's locked, no one's answering the door, you're waiting for PD to get there. You're
Then
working on forcing the door. You don't know if grandma's behind the door with a freaking shotgun or if it's like a trap house that someone called on to like mess with them. You know what I'm saying? To like
yeah,
expose them.
so
That's the scariest thing.
those, of course, there's always a chance we're gonna get shot because someone's not expecting us or whatever,
Right.
or we're doing something. Um, the ones that concern me more are it where it starts like that, like no one's coming to the door, it's locked, and then all of a sudden someone does come to the door, but like every light in the house is still off, and there's like just like one
Yeah.
light in the back room that's on. It's like,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
you live this way? You live in the dark? Like,
This is how it is.
I
Because this
feel
is
like you're
like
gonna.
this is like scary house murder type stuff. Why
Yeah,
are you living like this? This is
yeah.
not
So
impressing
we get
anybody.
those.
I want to
Yeah,
actually
we
get
get
out of
those.
here.
That's why I love the crazy guys so much. You go into like you see this like I only have experienced. I mean, I've had friends like this, but it's like you hang out with some guy that's like the type of guy to walk into a house that's just like he lives there like, hey, anybody home? Like he just does has no nerves. He just doesn't care. You know,
That that's what
love the
I act
crazy
like.
guys.
That's what I act like when I go in because you don't wanna you wanna be as loud and like
Yeah,
let everybody know. So I'm
yeah.
like, hey, fire department, what's going on? You know,
Yeah,
have
I
to
go
be
into vacant
here.
houses. I go and work in vacant houses all the time, and I do the same thing. I'm like, hello, plumber. I'm just the plumber.
I'm just the plumber.
Don't
Holy
hurt
shit!
me.
Yeah. Oh man. All right, back to the Trump thing, dude. So what's the motive? That's especially in
Mm,
the news, like that's the big question. Like they still don't know the motive, but
mm.
do you think this
For him
is
to do it.
It's
I
easy. The
think
motive is
yeah. Well,
hate.
let's
The
just get
motive is
let me
pure
say this. Like,
hatred.
is it a coup against Trump? That is like left driven, but they're gonna
Yeah.
obviously blame it on the right. But possibly they could possibly blame it on the right. I think
so.
this
You
guy
think it
was a
might
Republican or
be
something like this.
so you don't think it was just him being a little
Lone.
mentally
Like,
unstable and
yeah, like I
trying
think
to be
they're
like a hero, right? The left's hero.
right.
You
Like
think
I think it might not be just the case like those other shootings, like I think this was back in like 2013, the dude that shot up the movie theater, and back in I think it was like 2016 or something where even my high school got shot up. It was the Valentine's Day massacre or whatever.
Oh wow.
It was the dude that took out like 13 kids. um but I see a trend with those shooters, and I could identify this shooter as falling into that kind of category. He's probably mentally unstable, probably on like different types of medications, and who knows where the algorithm sent this kid.
He
But
MK Ultra'd himself.
I'm thinking maybe that might be involved. Who knows, man? Like I can't always rule out MK Ultra. I mean, I think it's a program that's never been dissolved. It's been buried. It's just like,
agreed. It
yeah,
changed name.
it changed name, and
It's the Blackwater of mind control programs.
I'm like just wondering. So if that is possible, right? So this kid would be like an MK Ultra. What do you call them? Uh, Agent,
Incel?
I guess.
Yeah,
Incel.
Manchurian incel.
Do you know why do you call them incel?
Involuntary celibate.
Give me
Yeah,
a
no.
what?
What's
Tell
that got to
tell
do with
everyone.
MK Ultra?
Wait, yeah.
Yeah, it has everything to do with MK Ultra. Incel?
Okay, explain because
Okay,
I want
so
to know how they correlate.
this is like the more updated program of MK Ultra is the incels, the newly created incels, the blue hairs, a lot of people call them now, because it's just people that are outraged, usually because of the Mockingbird media, right? Which is everything now, and it's just a big echo chamber of outrage. And you need to be outraged. You need to be outraged. Just telling these people they need to be outraged, and they get stuck in this ideology. And it really is like an MK Ultra program ish. There's
Well,
definitely drugs.
it's the new warfare. Like, is that
It's a new
what you
warfare,
would
but
say?
there's
It's the new
definitely drugs
warfare.
involved too. Because MK Ultra, let's just start here. MK Ultra was a program by the CIA that involved drugs and interrogation. They used drugs during interrogation as a method to pull information out of terrorists or out of whomever they want. And now what you see is you see Prozac being flooded, and you see, commercials of antidepressants everywhere for many, many years, and people are really nilly taking them because they're being advertised on these programs that they watch. So it's like all together like this Mockingbird media combination of MK Ultra, and these people are MK Ultraing themselves. And really they turn like as a young kid, I couldn't sit here and tell you exactly how. I brought this up on the Revenant Warriors podcast. I just found out that, and you can fact check me on this, the DOD is responsible for all of the public schools food supply. The DOD. So
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either until the other day. I thought it was very interesting, and I heard it randomly too. Had nothing to do with some conspiracy theory. It was just like some random fact I heard.
Like responsible as in like they plan
They
the meals?
supply the meals. So look that up. Fact check me. I believe it's all of the public schools are supplied by the DoD, and their excuse is that this is one of their only revenue avenues. So regardless of that, what I'm saying about this kid in the incel is involuntary celibate means that he doesn't want to be a nerd that gets no girls. He's kind of spiteful and angry now at the world because he's ugly and his personality's ugly. He is very socially disconnected. That's like the main thing. And he's just upset. And these kids are exploited, I think, in many ways in our society and pushed out and shunned. And, they're the kids that wear military fatigues to school. They just want to be a part of something. And it's almost like it's created somehow because we've all known that kid. I had a kid in my school growing up like that. Luckily, we all thought he was going to be a school shooter. Luckily, he ended up, I don't know, he ended up taking psychedelics or something, ended up being a really cool guy later on in his life and just ended up happy with a family. But that's, yeah.
I knew several, I was friends with 2 kids that I can think of off the top of my head that.
There's always a couple, right? There's always a few kids.
I was friends with them. And one of them actually, at one point, I was hanging out with him later after high school. And he told me, he's like, it was one of those situations where we were just chilling or whatever. He's like, you saved my life. And I was like, I did not. Please explain. He's like, yeah, you remember a couple weeks ago when you called me up just to see what I was doing, we wanted to go to the movies or something. Like literally, that's how I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I had a gun in my mouth when you called me. He's like, that was the reason I didn't kill myself that night. I was like, oh my God. Well, glad you're still around, and he's still around to this day. Like he's a highly productive member of society right now.
Really funny, dude, that you say that because I had a 3-hour conversation with an old friend of mine last night on the phone, real late. I was up to like 3 a.m. And I had 3 hours I was talking to him, and he told me a very similar story about me and him. I didn't call him and he had a gun in his mouth, but I was talking to him and like we had just randomly connected again, kind of like how me and Stevie connected again, just out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. He came out to visit, but we just hit it off. But yeah, me and this guy connected out of nowhere, and he was telling me he was going through a lot of stuff at the time. He's like, right during that time that I was like reconnecting with him, he had tried to off himself with, same exact type of way. And he just for the first time told me last night, and I was like, fuck, man. Good dude. And it's just like, people go through a lot, man. This life is hard, dude. It's really difficult, man. And that's like, for this kid too, that ended up doing this crazy stuff, what is the motive? Because, if you're really that miserable, a lot of people do just resort to offing themselves instead of trying to off the president. So there must have been a motive. Was it that he really just hateful? Was he just angry and rageful or what?
Well, I don't know. I think it's deeper than that. Deeper than like the emotional response that someone has to depression or any of those other kinds of things. Like why is he in a BlackRock ad? Like why does he have these
Wait, talk about that. I heard this. You said this. He's in a BlackRock ad?
He's in a BlackRock ad, yeah. So
get out of here.
And
dude.
The video on multiple platforms has been taken down. And I don't know why, but I can't seem to find the exact video.
When you do find it, screen record it. Save it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. So I don't know, it just makes me think like, whoa, so okay. I mean, anyone can have that kind of, I guess, affiliation. I'm just curious to what other information do we not have on this guy? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so was it really Matthew Crooks? What's his name? Matthew something Crooks?
I
because
don't.
I saw a video.
Because I've
I
heard
s-
several different.
Yeah, I've heard Uric. Everywhere is Matthew Crooks, and then I saw a video of supposed Matthew Crooks going, "I hate Republicans. I hate Donald Trump."
Well, I
And he
don't
looks in the
think that's him.
camera
I don't think
and
that's
he says,
him.
"You got the wrong guy." And I'm like, "Whoa,
Well, is that
what's
the
going
guy?
on?"
But it doesn't. That guy doesn't look like the actual shooter. I think that was just like a guy that was posting a video
Trying to get publicity.
meme, yeah, just to troll people in a way. 'Cause
His
he
name
looks
might
like
actually,
him, you know.
yeah, but there's probably a lot of people named Matthew Crooks. There
Sure,
probably
sure,
is.
sure.
And you're right. He's probably jumping on the
I'm just wondering, man. Like, if we were touching on MK Ultra, and
Mhm.
when that was going on, right? It kind of evolved into uh where they were starting to recruit people out in the public, like especially one of those people was like Charles Manson, right? And Charles Manson did what? He started a cult, and these people did what? They went out and they performed murders and they did killings. So the way I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, if MK Ultra has never gone away, let's just say,
Mhm.
and they evolved the program into they want to still see if they can make people kill people, right? So
Mhm.
what if we're in the new age of this program, and this is what it looks like? It looks like
Yeah,
these
I agree.
school shooters.
I think
It
it
looks
is.
like these people shooting up public, you know, with high occupancy areas. So
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, I'm like,
I think. Sorry.
they ran their tests with Charles Manson. They
Mm.
figure out the certain information, and they exploited him. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And maybe now they're doing it to the younger generation, and they're gathering. And that's why I was talking to you guys before. I'm like, if this is possible, what does this look like? This type of recruitment look like in the real world? Do they bring you
It's
in?
right in front
Do
of
they email you?
No,
Do they visit
it's
your
public.
house and go, hey, listen, man, we want to recruit you for this program? And
Dude, no, it's public now. This
the
is what I'm
MIB
saying.
zap them, and then they reprogram their brains. It's like an incel.
They
like,
chemically lobotomize some of them for sure.
I think they definitely probably still do it like they used to, where they just infiltrate your group, or
yeah.
Yeah.
get someone to lure you somewhere. Like
Mhm.
if drugs are still involved, right? Like it's going to be you just meet someone at a party that's like, hey, I got this stuff. You want to
Yeah.
try it? Like
Dude.
what happened to Jesse the other night.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dude, what
jeez.
if it's deeper than that? What if like these people are
Should we talk about that?
What if these people are raised similar to like how like in the show Stranger Things, right? How all the children with the supernatural powers or whatever,
Mhm.
they're housed underground, and they're experimented on throughout their entire childhood. What if like this is really happening, and they deploy these students or whatever out into the public, and they give them families, right? Like they give them families, and these families are all CIA. Like these families are all CIA, right? And then these things happen. I don't know. That's going super down the rabbit hole conspiracy, like tinfoil hat range, but I still think it's possible. Like look at the movie Born Identity. Like this guy didn't even know who he really was, and he was raised his whole life, you know. He remembered.
Have you heard of the orphan?
Was...
Have you guys heard of the orphan trains?
No.
Oh. Okay, Sam Tripoli talks a lot about this. So the orphan trains were like a bunch of children orphans that they would pretty much house and ship around, and they would use them. So they put them in academies, they'd put them in schools, and they pretty much would be brought up and brainwashed by higher elites. And it's thought too that Trudeau is kind of one of them, and there's a couple other people, notable names. And these people are pretty much brought up, and they're orphans, and they're brought up to be whatever their overlords are decided they want them to be. They're pushed in a direction, whether it's politics, they're designed to be the Prime Minister of Canada or whatever. But yeah, that's very similar. Like they're taking children from a young age. Okay, now I just found out about this too. This is another really interesting program by the Johns Hopkins University. It's called
My sister graduated from there.
Okay, so there's a program there for young people. It's called like the Talented Young People's Institute program. It's a program, and Lady Gaga went there. The dude from Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, went
I
there.
think you sent that to us a while back or something. It was
Not
a
too long
list.
ago, a couple months ago.
Yeah, not too long ago.
And basically, you just look at it, and they take these kids, and these kids they're very skilled in one thing, or they're specialized, and then they utilize their specialty.
You think
So
they
Mark
downloaded these specialties into these people, kind of like how like
No, so Mark Zuckerberg. So Mark Zuckerberg studied. They utilized their exploit, and they utilized their specialties. So Mark Zuckerberg was an expert at memorization. His study before he really got into, I believe before he even went to Harvard, his study was in like classical something, and it just had everything to do with memorization, like most education does. But this entirely does, like his area was like really like just memorizing a lot of information, and that was his specialty. And Lady Gaga is probably, I don't know,
singing, or something, acting,
something,
entertainment, whatever.
Everything, yeah, emotional specialty. Who knows? But regardless, yeah, I do believe that your theory on children taken by programs doesn't necessarily have to be, I mean, utilized by the government for sure, but private programs. I mean, you got private aerospace companies,
as we would think.
Yeah. No, I don't think it is.
It almost makes me think of the missing people map. What is it? The 411 missing 411. People map. I think too, like that. There's a certain amount of children that are kidnapped or missing or whatever every year. It falls around the same number, which I mean that can just be like a normal trend, but it makes me think maybe, who knows, man, maybe they're just snatching kids. Right? Quota. Yeah.
Well, I mean, think about it. There's a lot of congressmen, which means you need a lot of kids in order to create all the adrenochrome for that many congressmen and global elites.
Oh, dude, I can't believe you brought up adrenochrome. That's crazy. I believe it. I believe it. I'm gonna say it. I believe it. I think it is a black market drug that rich elites take to, and it's like it's kind of like how like they do all kinds of things with marijuana, and like they could break it down and change it into all different kinds of concentrates or whatever.
This one doesn't get you high, but it relieves pain.
Like there's
stoned off out of your gourd, but
it's
like you don't have to take as much as normal.
Yeah, it cracks me up when you hear some of these people like kind of joke and troll it, like in the paparazzi and stuff. There was this one person on Ellen DeGeneres show or whatever, and he's like a 58-year-old dude, but he looks 35, and he's like, I put baby blood on my face. He's like a gay black guy or whatever, and because his boyfriend was like 27 or something like that, and the age difference was crazy, and he made a funny joke about that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like,
was it funny though,
dude? But I mean,
was it funny though?
Not really funny. Not really funny. It's not really funny. Not especially not when like Ellen DeGeneres has like almost what looks like the Epstein Island temple in the back of her drop there of her show. And it's got like palm trees around. It looks like you're on an island in the background. It really does.
I've always got weird vibes from that.
Yeah.
That background.
Totally side note. The DOD public school meal stuff. So I looked that up, and the DOD does run some public school
Is it
stuff.
the USDA at DOD or whatever it is?
No, it's DODEA.
Okay.
And so, but as far as I can tell, it's for all the DOD schools. So like all the bases in the US. I'm just saying that's all I've been able to find so far.
Prove it.
So I could screen share, I guess. I don't know what you want me to do.
I want you to call the DOD right now. Get them on the phone. I worked for a couple. I've worked for guys that work for the DOJ, DOD. I've worked for a bunch of. I mean, I live in Las Vegas. I meet a lot of really interesting guys. I met one guy that was a part of the DARPA program for the Air Force and was a part in the 80s. I think late 70s, early 80s, and was a part of literally uploading the internet and designing and uploading that. And he told me it was originally designed.
Fake news.
Yeah, he told me it was. Yeah, I believe him.
No,
I told him. Yeah, he told me. He goes. You know, I always am so skeptical with these guys a lot of the times, and then they talk. Like I'll ask them questions. They talk for a while about it. And I'm like, okay, you're kind of, you know, getting me. But he was telling me the internet was originally designed as a communication system for the Air Force.
Yeah, them and Al Gore put it together.
Interesting.
It's I want to say.
Yeah, I was going to say Al Gore was not around yet.
DARPA made
he was probably around, but he wasn't that high up yet.
Yeah. Well, that's one of his like supposed claim to fame is that he invented the internet.
Oh my God.
Yeah, DARPA started all that stuff. DARPA made the iPhone.
Is that true? Is that?
Yeah, there's a guy working for DARPA on 60 Minutes bragging all about it. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, we invented Siri before it was Siri. They called it Siri for Apple called it Siri, but they developed the technology.
I definitely believe that.
Yeah.
As far as
and then he was even saying that their technology came from CERN, and it was like, what?
Wait.
Then they started getting into hadron colliding type stuff. Yeah, it was like,
no way.
Yeah, all that kind of
stuff. So they're
stuff.
saying they're drawing all their knowledge out of fallen angels, pretty much.
That's how they all do it.
Yeah, I mean, right?
That's how NASA gets all their information in their Great Leaps Forward.
That's what Nikola Tesla said something about that. He's like talking to beings from Venus or something like that.
Nikola Tesla, Jack Parsons, they're all getting it from the other side.
Yeah, that's right. Wow. 369 -5.
Yep, there's 369. That's another number. Why is 36 Mafia 36 Mafia? Why are they using the sacred 369? That's a very
that's a Tesla thing.
I think so. Yeah.
I think that he like there was something about those numbers, probably something to do with the frequency. I don't know. Wish he was still alive. Like talk to him. But hey man, come on to Wise Men Show.
He'd probably die and have a heart attack on our show.
And you know what's fun? What didn't Trump's great uncle? He was a part of the FBI that came in and confiscated all. I think they left some of the stuff for the family, but there was something like 40-something trunks of information that was taken. Just crazy.
Yeah.
We did a show on that. Yeah. That was a good show. I enjoyed that show. I remember I went so down the rabbit hole. I was on like CIA.gov or something. I was trying to find like, you get the CIA documents. They're all like blacked out and you're like, oh my gosh, Tesla talked to a Martian. What the?
Redacted.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about the water tower? Why was there no sniper on the water tower? This is what I've been hearing too.
I mean, I guess that could be justified to what like Louis was saying. I mean, if they were undermanned and they didn't have, if those were the only snipers like surveilling the entire compound, it's just, I don't know. I mean, that
so are you saying this is spot? Like?
I would maybe split those guys up, put the one guy in the water tower. Just depends if like that tree line was covering everything, then the water tower's, in my opinion, pointless. I would want to be looking at rooftops, you know.
So if this guy legit had the sniper, like the shooter in his sights for like 3 minutes and was not given the green light, then like being on the water tower is irrelevant. Like if he could see him and he just wasn't given the go to take him out.
In that video, it looks like he sees him. It looks like he's like hawking something, you know. He's paying attention to something.
And then the shots are fired, and he kind of ducks his head a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, there he goes. Told you.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's like if those snipers had the highest elevation out of any other building or building peak, then yeah, you wouldn't need to get on the sniper tower. I agree. Or the sniper tower. Well, Could be a sniper tower.
I
Water
think
tower.
that area where the shooter climbed up, I think that area was being used as something to do with staging things, or if it was a staging area for kind of like a
Well, you could see there was
headquarters.
other crowd members and stuff. So
Yeah.
like, it was probably just outside the event itself.
I'm
Well,
honestly
that video, you saw the video where the people are like literally like next to the building pointing at them.
50 yards away. So my guess is it was just outside of the event
Venue.
itself.
Right,
The
right.
venue. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
Imagine how hot that roof had been. That
I mean,
roof
it's
had been
Pennsylvania.
hot.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Maybe that's why he missed. He's like, fuck, this is
But it's
hot.
just too hot.
Legal.
Yeah.
Legal.
He wouldn't have been up. Hey, I promise you, he wouldn't have been up there with the Vegas heat hitting that tin roof like that.
I would have melted that dude.
He'd have been
I wanna
fucking
bring
cooking,
something up.
dog.
I want to bring something up.
Maybe
So
that
there
was it.
a
The mirage, the heat mirage, had
Ah.
him all messed up, and it messed the shot up.
Ain't no heat mirage in Pennsylvania.
that bullet missed
heat
by
mirage
one.
Butler,
Right.
Pennsylvania.
Golly.
Is there heat mirages in Florida? You guys get that? Do you?
Or on the road, we get it off the grass.
Oh, interesting. I didn't even. That's crazy. I don't think I ever seen a heat mirage in New York growing up.
So Jesse sent me a video of a dude that I guess a few months back predicted or prophesied the shooting, and that he even saw in the vision or whatever, in his dream, whatever it is, that Trump got shot in the ear. And so this is the same guy so hear me out on this, right? This is the same guy.
I'm with you.
This is the same guy that is prophesying that Trump is going to become like a reborn or more of a Christian, I guess, than he states he is or whatever, right? And that there's going to be an economic collapse, right? And that
Can we play the video for our folks?
Well, there's multiple videos of this guy. He's also predicting that XRP is going to hit like $10,000, and I was like,
I heard this too.
Let's go.
Come on, baby.
We got some of that.
Yes,
I heard
we
this
do.
too, yeah.
So
I didn't know that he said
So,
XRP was going to hit 10,000 though.
yeah, that's a
That would
video
be
that's going around.
that would be dope. But so it's interesting you say that so the like the breakdown of the shooter and the event and stuff that I watched earlier was John Lovell, Warrior Poet Society.
Mhm.
So he is a big devout Christian. And he brought up that, and this is, I guess, normal for people, I guess, that happened to Reagan after he got shot as well. Like he became like, he's like, I feel like I have a new purpose. I was given another chance by God to do good work, right? Like
Mhm.
Reagan said that. And apparently people that are close to Trump are stating that he's kind of similar. He's like, I survived this.
Well, he put out a tweet, I
he's
think.
become a little more religious, like he's like, God saved me for a reason.
So in this guy's dream, if we can't play the video, I guarantee Steven can pull the video up, but this guy was saying in his dream, in his vision that was in his dream, that Trump gets shot in the ear and immediately goes down to his knees and is on fire for Jesus, he says, word for word. He becomes born again. And that sounds very true, because his whole fan base, his whole follower fan base, the Trumpers, the big Trumpers, they're all devout Christians. 99.9% of them, for sure. So, and that's rubbing off on him. So,
I'm just
I can see
hoping that
that
this second
being
guy's
probable.
prophecy like hits harder than what he's saying. Okay, I want XRP.
What,
to
the
go up
XRP?
to 10,000
Yeah,
a
let's
coin.
go.
Okay.
Okay, so do I need to
Seriously,
put
like,
more money?
I do not care about anything
like
else.
Let's do some quick math on this, because
I think I have like
have
$3. How much is XRP?
What's
Yeah,
the
what's
what's the
XRP?
market look like right now? Is it $10 yet?
I don't know. So
That's
I don't
funny.
even have as much as Stevie has, but
Oh, it's moved
if,
up
if
5%
if
in
it
the last
got-
24 hours, boys.
if it got to that, like Stevie would be
Oh yeah, we're withdrawing.
multimillionaire.
We're withdrawing immediately.
Let's see. If I would have almost $3 million.
Oh my god.
Oh, wow.
And I have a fraction of what Stevie has.
Oh my gosh.
Wowzers.
All right, so let's switch. Let's switch it up here. So, what do you think is going to come out of this? Like, I know we
Civil
don't
War.
really. We were talking about the motive a little bit or whatever. So Jesse says civil war. I say the opposite. I say uniting of the country. Louis, what do you think?
Coming out of what happened?
What do you think the cultural, political response to
Ramifications.
this between both parties?
So it really depends on how whoever spins this, because honestly, what concerns me is like, what was this planned? You know, like if it was just a lone wolf thing, then it's going to be one of those situations where the government, you know, the old saying, never let a good crisis go to waste, right? Like they're going to be like, all right, here's our chance to do XYZ, you know, like implement some other control measure to take power away from the people, right? There's that. If it was MK Ultra, you know, if this dude was manipulated into doing this, who did it, for what reason, and what was their plan, because it didn't succeed, right? Like had it succeeded,
Right.
what would have happened? But it didn't. He missed. So now what? Right? Like what was the plan? So we're looking at, I mean, it's if it was foreign state actors, you know, if it was like China or Russia or this and that, I feel like that's honestly a little less concerning than if it was our own government, some of the deep state, or even just someone political party that was like, we need to get rid of this. Because
I completely agree on less
I
concerning.
I can see too, like with Jesse saying Civil War, that maybe this would be a good moment to stage like a right wing retaliation or something. You know,
Yep, that
like
as
it's either
well.
something against
I agree.
Biden, because some people are. Alex Jones is saying like both of them are gonna fucking die.
So remember what I brought
Oh,
up
is he, dude? I was
the other
wondering
morning?
about that. Haven't last couple of days. I just haven't jumped on. I'm like today. I was thinking about I need to listen to what Jones is saying, and I didn't jump on. So
Remember,
Alex Jones is saying that he's. What were you saying, Louis? Sorry.
no, I sent my that video. I sent a little video to you guys of my thoughts on the way to work the other morning,
Oh
where I
yeah.
said
Yes,
I thought that
which is a good
this
point.
was possibly, if it was a setup, like that this was a way for them to clear the slate
Like
of presidential
we're
candidates.
looking at this as if like
That makes a lot
the
of sense,
shot
Louis.
was meant to be missed. Let's
But
hypothetically.
what if, no, I'm saying what if it wasn't? Like if it was meant to hit, and this is how
Right.
Okay.
they were gonna take Trump
Yeah.
out, just straight
Right.
up assassinate him,
Put
right?
Gavin Newsom in.
And then
Oh,
figure
for
out
Biden.
how to get Biden out, right? Either they do the same to him, or they just get him to step down, right?
Oh, this
And
is
now
making me think this is MK Ultra, bro. This
it's
is
two brand
making
new candidates, right?
yeah. I can see this plan.
So
I can see this side of the plan.
that was one of my thoughts. The other thing is, if it did go to civil war, like what does that look like? Because the right isn't exactly united. The left
Okay.
is also all over the place. So like I don't know that a civil war in the United States would, I feel like it would look more like
Domestic randomness, random domestic violence.
Yes, exactly. Like
Yeah,
Is
that's how I
everything-
picture it.
There
Is
I
aren't
picture
everything
that
is-
snowballing though. This is my take on this. Is that I
Right.
picture very soon a domestic interaction between somebody in the gas station is going to say, I heard my buddy was telling me last night. He goes, I was in the gas station, and this dude, Trumper, right-leaning dude, was probably drunk, and was just in the gas station, just angry, just yelling, angry, just like willing, like let's go. So there's no way that these guys aren't going to be. There's plenty of drunk hillbillies everywhere, like they're ready to go. So that being said, I think there's going to be a domestic situation between civilians that is going to snowball and throughout the country. I mean, look what happened with Kenosha and George Floyd. It was just a bunch of state to state, a bunch of people watching CNN, Fox News, and being outraged, and then literally just getting outraged, going out and causing domestic encounters, and it was snowballing. We saw it snowballing. I think the same thing is possible here.
And that snowballing is it's the second and third order effects of that violence that becomes the biggest issue, right? Like you have those events, and then infrastructure gets damaged. Infrastructure can't be fixed, right? Like if you couple that with some of the other things that have already been going on, 911 systems being hacked and disabled across entire states, right? Power grids being damaged like intentionally, and millions of people losing power for several days until they can get it back on.
When was that? When did that happen?
Oh, that happens, I feel like, every couple weeks. Like people will just shoot transformers and stuff.
Okay.
Like it happens in California, I feel like every couple months someone does it.
Well, there's been rolling blackouts in California for years, but I think that's like the monopolistic energy companies.
No, I'm just saying specifically, like
shooting.
Yeah,
we saw that like that secret terrorist event that Joe Rogan talked about, where the guys, like this special ops kind of team, came in and shot the trans.
That was in North Carolina. Yeah.
Oh, that was in Carolina. Okay.
Yeah, that happened in North Carolina. Also, like the hacking of, you remember the gas pipeline that went down a couple of years ago?
Well,
that was hacked. North Dakota's entire 911 system. It was North Dakota or South Dakota? One of the Dakotas. Their 911 system went down from a
probably South Dakota.
Like 2 weeks ago, and it's not the first place who's had their 911 system hacked recently. Like there's a lot going on. If you couple any of those things, either by chance, happenstance, that they happen at the same time, something else is going on, like things are going to get weird. And then with the food shortages and like grocery store prices, like all this stuff all happening at the same time, there's reasons for people to be angry.
Right.
And, you know,
right.
if you create a crisis that people can't go to the store or can't get water or don't have power, especially in the summer, get out of here.
Start planning, people. We need to do another prep episode and go over like what you need for 3 weeks, 1 month. This is 1 month. Do you have a family of 2, 3, 4, 5? This is what you need. I think that would be a great episode.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was the very first episode you guys brought me on, was Preppy Pepperson.
Yeah, Pepperson featuring
nice.
Jesse Taylor.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love that studio.
Man.
That was cool. That was a fun little
studio. It's so much better. It's so fun doing it all in person.
It is. It's why you need to move here.
One of the reasons you need to move here.
It's too low in sea level. You guys are going to get wiped out.
Be all right.
Maybe all right.
You're gonna get wiped out when they take Skunk Works out.
Ooh. Dude, I have a laser gun that they don't know about. I'll be shooting them down.
Oh, is that Bob Lazar's laser gun?
Dude, I got all the Element 115s I need, dog.
So what's up with the UFC? What's the newest events, fights coming up?
Oh, the most. So July 27th, we got pretty big fights coming up. This last fight's in Denver was Rose Namajunas versus Tracy Cortez. Short notice fight. She had to cut her hair off on the scale. Super emotional. She cried.
What did you think of the? Yeah, this girl cut her hair just to make weight.
Yeah, she just cut her hair off to make weight, and it was like, yeah, she got really emotional and cried. But yeah, she had to cut her hair off to make weight, I guess. But Rose was talking about how there was a discrepancy in the scale that they used in the back versus the scale that they used for the actual official scale. And she's saying that she was lighter on the official scale. So I think she was kind of implying that Tracy wasn't going to really make weight. Regardless, it wasn't by much. Nobody really cares about that stuff when it's like a pound or two. But when it's 5+ pounds, it does make a big difference in hydration and weight and stuff like that. It doesn't seem like it, but it really does. But a pound or two. Yeah.
What's your take on this Piera guy or whatever? This guy's
Michelle Pereira? Oh, you're talking about Alex Pierre.
Piera, yeah. Dude, this
Oh,
guy's unstoppable.
Piera.
Lou, have you
Alex
seen this
Piera.
guy fight?
I have no
He's not
idea.
unstoppable.
He's like an Aztec
Yeah,
warrior.
he's
that
not.
enters the
He seems
octagon.
unstoppable. He's already been stopped first of all in the
So
UFC.
his last fight, he fought. Who did he fight? He fought Yuri, right?
Yeah, he fought Yuri Prochazka twice in a row.
So Yuri was claiming that
yeah,
Piera was summoning spirits to help him win because he's
shamanism.
Yeah, so he's been undefeated for what, like 7 fights, 8 fights, or something like that. He's the fastest to win multiple belts, right?
Yeah, definitely. He came in from Glory Kickboxing and just he came in from Glory Kickboxing, had like 1 or 2 fights in the UFC, then fought for the belt against his rival that he had fought in Glory Kickboxing that had the belt, Israel Adesanya, sorry. And he fucking
black magic.
So yeah, Yuri was saying that he was using spirits.
He might be.
Magic.
I mean, I think he is. He's pretty open about like his practices. He even said in an interview, he was like, "What if I'm doing something to get closer to whatever spirits? Then like, you go do the same thing or something like that."
No, he said we all have our own spirits. It's up to you to believe in it or whatever.
Right.
But I don't think he really said that, to be honest. So his coach, somebody recently did a cover on his coach in the gym he's at, and his coach is also his translator, and his coach is a Mason, a Freemason, and his gym symbol is the Freemason symbol. And they went in deep on that a little bit, and it's very interesting. It's very interesting. I'll send you some stuff about it.
Down this rabbit hole. You're like,
I know. I got caught off guard by it just a couple days ago. Yeah. I'll send you some stuff about it. I didn't dive too deep into it, but I was like, this is interesting because this guy's like seen, like he goes all over the world and he travels and he's seen like praying at like a Buddha statue and praying at like a Shiva statue and some. But you're traveling. If you're traveling, that's interesting. But yeah, it's just I don't know. There's something fishy about him. He's a Mason. So, but yeah, I could see him. I don't know. I see pure focus, but I'll be honest with you.
He's just raw.
He's gonna get mauled by a wrestler eventually, and he already has kind of. He pretty much lost
that. He doesn't have that style to his fight, I don't think. Well, I mean, he might, but it's not his.
He's getting better. He's getting better, but a real wrestler, like you can't teach that at this age. Like you're just gonna get. It's just different. He already almost just pretty much lost to a different guy. I'm blanking. A Polish power they call him, but he gassed the Polish guy gassed. And he was taking him down, just laying on him the whole fight, and the Polish guy gassed, and they went to decision, and Alex barely won. So, regardless of that, the UFC Denver Rose was fun to watch. Evan Elder was the very first fight, and that was right just a couple hours after the Trump shooting happened, and Evan Elder was called into this fight to fight Darius Flowers on 2 weeks' notice. And right at the end of his fight, Evan Elder said, "I heard they tried to whack my boy Trump." He's like, "They didn't get him no long live Trump. Trump 2024, baby, let's go." And then walked off. And that was the only time anybody said anything on the broadcast about Trump, I'm pretty sure. But I was like, I clipped that. I'm going to throw that in the video. I'll probably drop that tomorrow. But man...
I still honestly can't believe it. Like it actually happened.
Dude, it shocked me. I was in shock for sure.
So that there was 1981 was the last time there was an assassination attempt on a president.
That was Reagan.
This is the first time in our lifetime.
Right.
Like I'm probably the closest. I was born in '82. Like I guess my wife was. This is the second in her lifetime, but she was only a year old. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the other significant event that has happened. I mean, there's been a few, but 9/11 is the other. Like, I mean, you can't compare this to fucking 9/11, but I'm just saying like it's one of those events that happens that's like shocking, world changing, very shocking. Just is definitely changing the course of history in our country for sure.
Well, so that one and the COVID response.
Yeah, I did. I left that out because I was like, yeah, that's kind of definitely.
Well, that one everyone sees and still knows. So
yeah, that one's still
Right.
lingering. It's not
how
going
old
away
were you
here.
guys on 9/11?
I think I was 9.
I was in 4th grade. I think I was 11.
You were
Something like
11 in 4th grade?
You were
I think so. Yeah,
probably
9
that's
or
about
10.
9 or 10 as well.
I think you were 10 because I think I was 9. I was born in
right. Okay.
92.
Yeah.
And they happened in September, so I believe I was 9.
Yeah, I can't remember how old I was exactly. I remember
Yeah,
it
you were
though.
10.
I remember the whole thing.
Yeah.
Remember the
I
whole
remember I was
thing.
in daycare in New York. I was in daycare. Well, I was going to school, heading into school. The bus was coming to the daycare to pick us up from morning daycare. And I remember standing by the radio on the carpet. And this sounds really bad, but I remember it like it was yesterday. I looked at my buddies and I said, I guess some towel head just flew into the building.
Oh, nice.
Why does a 9-year-old say that?
I blame your parents.
Parent.
Yeah.
Right. There you go.
Well, no, my dad was around too, but yeah, my mom is the,
Well,
she's
I
the
had like
culprit.
there was a
Just kidding.
well when I was
Just
in
kidding, Mom.
I was in class and
All
everyone
right. My mom taught me how to what gooks were. So
Oh, nice. Dude, my
You
grandmother
sure it
used
wasn't
to
Clint
call
Eastwood?
call them that. That's crazy.
you know what it was? So I used to have a Sega Master System. I believe it was. So this game.
Well, the handheld one?
No. This was before, like, the original competitor to Nintendo.
Right,
Like the
yeah.
Nintendo NES.
I thought it
original
was
competitor.
I thought they had the, never mind. Okay.
That was the Sega. I can't remember what it was called now, but I had that too later on.
Right.
But the Master System is the Master System 2, and I had Rambo First Blood Part 2.
Oh
was the
shit!
game.
You had Rambo. Oh,
Yes.
man.
And she and I would play all the time. And to this day, it embarrasses her that she even used to say
Said-
this.
Yeah, I bet.
But I think she only said it once, but it stuck. It was one of those things like little kid sticks, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember being in Florida, so I was probably 9, 10 years old. And I'd ask her if she wanted to play, and she'd be like, yeah, let's shoot some gooks.
Oh my gosh.
Because in the game, we were fighting, I guess, the Vietnamese.
I already knew where you were going. You said Rambo, and I'm like Vietnamese type of.
Yeah, we were in the game.
right.
You were fighting Vietnamese. So she was like, "Yeah, let's shoot some gooks." When I'd ask her to play.
Oh my gosh.
That's so crazy.
That's bad.
It's
But
funny.
that's the sign of the times. That was probably
Sign of the times.
1991.
Oh yeah.
1991. So
These-
right around the time you guys were born.
Damn Americans.
No doubt, man.
All these damn Americans and their ways. So what are we going? Are we doing bananas on the shooter? How many bananas is he an MK Ultra or not? Or okay, let me just give my short rundown. Here's what I think exactly what it is. It's that not exactly what it is, but the fact that the Secret Service, the FBI, there's multiple agencies that were definitely tipped off. There's no way this kid was hiding his plans. I don't think it was a last minute thing. I think they were tipped off. I think they knew it was coming, and I think they were going to let it happen. And I think Louis' little theory piles on top of this, as in they were going to wipe the slate clean with. And I think at the same time, the Republicans knew about this, and they kind of did a counteraction. And did you see that today? Trump announced his vice presidents, J.D. Vance,
I saw that
as his vice president. So all the Republicans got together and officially nominated him as the Republican nominee, and there's going to be nobody else. Every state nominated him, right, as the Republican nominee, right? I believe.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't honestly paid that much attention to it.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on, so it's one of those.
Yeah. So I believe that's what happened today, and I think this was definitely kind of a planned situation, because I think that it's just those two sides, the deep state fighting Trump. I'm kind of like I was kind of thinking the opposite for a long time, and it's back and forth Now I'm kind of going back to, I really think it actually might be Trump fighting the deep state. I think there might be some merit to that.
I see I see what you're saying, but I don't I still am gonna be like way back here with all this.
I'm an arm's length.
Because like I feel I'm with you. I just feel like gotcha ass, like like they can do that, like and if anything, I think they want to persuade not just the general opinion, but they want to persuade like how people like us think too. Meaning that they want to corral us as well. So like how would they do that? They would, you know, create an event
So,
that would take place where our emotional response would
so I
achieve over what we really need to critically think about. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I just thought of this. I had something else that I wanted to say, but I just thought of this. What if this is like one of those times? So when the Chinese Communist Party took over, right? Like during the revolution back, was it the 60s? I believe it was. Chinese Communist Party took over.
They killed their free market, right? They fucking
when they initially took over, like the first couple years, it was like, hey, free speech, say what you want, blah blah blah, and it was a ruse basically to get people to say how they really felt, and then they're like, all right,
I
good to
agree.
go, got all of you
Good
now that
point.
you've expressed your true feelings, and line up against that wall because we're going to kill you all now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what if it's one of those situations where like Stevie just said, it's now everyone's hyper emotional and everybody's putting it out there, and it's like, oh, all right, cool. We weren't sure about this guy. Now we know for sure that he's leans this way or he's XYZ, and now we know exactly who we're targeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes
What
a
this
lot of
whole
sense.
thing too like brought me back to was like I'm not comparing Trump to Hitler, but like Hitler also there was an attempt on his life as well. You know what I'm saying? And at that time, there was two sides of the narrative. Hitler is a good guy and he's trying to expand and build an empire, and Hitler's a bad guy and he's killing innocent people, right? So there's these two narratives. And it's kind of like what we're seeing today. It's kind of like the demonization of Trump and that he's, for the fall of democracy and all this kind of stuff, and he's going to destroy it. That when Hitler survived the assassination attempt, it revolted the people to favor one narrative. So like,
yeah, he became a martyr. Right.
Yeah, like that's what I see too. Kind of, at least the media is like pushing this unity type thing. I'm kind of like, wow, are we living through like another?
No, we are living
You
through
see what I'm
historic,
saying?
like
Where it's
major
just
historical events right now.
yeah, and but it like, are we living through similar things that have taken place like in the past? It's just how the
Probably.
human condition is.
Brings me back to my
Right?
DMT trip.
Which let's talk about this a little bit, right? So this brings us into the generational theory, right? We could talk about this for 15, 20 minutes, whatever. Like the generational theory, I mean, are we seeing these small events take place, and we could see that they've happened before in the past, but it's all part of this, I don't
It's
even
a
know what you
normal
would
cycle.
Yeah, normal cycle. And so like we would be, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is just what I've seen on Wikipedia, that this period in the generational theory is we're in the crisis and it should end in 2029. That's like the guest date. But are we going to be turning into like a high after this? Like, is this going to be like where once a plant dies and it's regrowing back, prettier and stronger than ever, right? So like that's like the first part of that 4-stage process, right? And then it just keeps there's different archetypes for each period or for each generation. It's just that they follow the same
Right.
80-year cycle.
Well, it's. I mean, if this is the crisis, after the crisis comes the rebuilding,
The
right?
rebuilding, yeah. Like, is this
Right.
is
And
this
so
is this a pivot?
it's the children that come of age, the people that come of age in the crisis
Hmm.
are the ones to then do the rebuilding, right? The true rebuilding. And then their children are the ones that, so like they start the high, then their children live in the high, and their children, um, obviously they have a different experience. They didn't have to live through the crisis.
Right.
They experienced the good parts of the rebuilding, and then so they are. It's like the heroes are right. The kids that are coming of age now, they're the heroes. They're going to start the rebuilding. Um, their kids are going to be the artists, I believe, and then the artists. Trying to remember this. The artists create the something, and then so it's like, I guess technically my generation was the artist generation,
I'm trying to look it up here too so we can get some
and then we were
specifics.
the ones
Bullshit.
that it's either my generation, like, because I'm early, I'm an elder millennial, as they say. Like I was the very first
You're the cusp.
year, yeah, the very first year of the millennial generation. And our
So
kids are
you're
the
in the
ones.
hero
Or
and then it goes into the artist. So it goes from
I
hero
I'm
to
not in the
artist.
hero generation.
Well, you said millennial, right? 1982 to 2005. This would be the third turning in the generation of the 87-year
The third
millennial
turning.
cycle.
So no, the hero's the first one after the crisis, right?
Well, it says prophet, nomad, hero, and artist. Like that's, you might be right, but I'm looking at a chart that
Yeah. So
kind of
so
shows what we're
prophet,
in.
nomad, hero, and artist. Right now, the heroes come of age during the crisis. So as
Which,
prophet, nomad.
okay.
So the nomad is, I would be part of the prophet generation, I believe, because my
So
mom would have been part of the artist generation. So I would be prophet. My kids would be the nomad
gotcha.
generation.
I do not want
Actually,
my
my
kid to
kids
be
would
a
be part of the
nomad.
hero generation, so I would be part of the nomad generation. I think
Nomad.
I think the um the millennials are probably the the prophets or the nomads, maybe. I don't know.
But yeah.
Anyway, it's
Who
the whole
comes up?
cycle.
Who
The
comes
whole
up with
cycle is
these names?
the good, the hard men create good times. Good times create soft men. Soft men create bad times. Bad times create hard men. Like that's the cycle. That's the one everyone understands.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
Right
we're kind
now,
of.
right
Yeah,
now
go
we're
ahead.
in
Yeah.
the soft men creating
Yeah.
bad times.
Yes.
And these
Yes.
bad times will
Yes.
create hard men, and those hard men are going to be our children.
I think. Yeah, I think we're into the transition currently. Because I had, I think all of us had. I mean, 9/11 was really tragic, and all of our, counterparts. I've had friends that have gone to Afghanistan and Iraq, Afghanistan mostly, but like seen some really horrible, horrible things. So we did go to war, pretty horrible war during our generation.
But that was a
Eh,
small percentage overall of people.
Yeah, yeah,
This
yeah.
is going
As
to
far
be a
as,
huge culturally
but okay, so let me ask you this: Is
significant
that
transition.
okay? Let me ask you this: Is that generational, millennial, generational term applied to the rest of the world or just America?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah,
Because
because
the rest of the world, I'd say probably the Western world.
I would agree. I
I,
would think so. That's a
I
Western ideology.
yeah, because the most of the rest of the world that I've seen, especially like they don't live soft lives
No.
unless they're a first world country. Even the developing second world countries, those people got to work. Like
Yeah.
they're not, like their goal in life necessarily isn't to become a famous YouTuber.
I
Maybe
think it
some of them,
is. I think it is like
but like
universal, like what you were saying, Jesse. I think it is universal because at least
It-
when I'm reading some of the examples of what things taking place in the third turning, second turning, whatever, it kind of generalizes events that took place but like affect the world. Like for example, like 9/11, like that affected the world, right? Like we went to war, things like that.
Were we considered millennials 30 years ago? Like, were they expected to be like, okay, this generation's coming up, they're going to be called millennials?
No,
Is
I
it
don't.
predestined, or is it like already like?
I think the name of the generation happens when the generation happens. I don't know that
I
they
would
get
think
a
that
name.
would make more sense.
But
I would think that too.
to Stevie's point, I think the reason these turnings and these episodes are worldwide and significant to the world is because the Western world affects the entire world. What happens in
Right.
the United States affects everybody.
I agree.
I
Yeah.
think that's why it's significant, but I don't know that necessarily each generation in other countries would match up to what we are experiencing until we make them experience it, if that makes sense.
Right.
I'll tell you right now that my DMT trip has reassured the everything under the sun has already happened, and it
Okay.
will happen again.
Then let's dive right into it. Good transition.
Sorry, I missed the
It's
transition.
not.
What are we talking about?
I was reading
I was reading the
Dimethyltryptamine.
comments in the chat.
There was
Dimethyltryptamine.
zero transition. He just jumped right into the
Okay.
intro.
Well, it was no, it was a it was a good transition. Come
That's
on.
good. That's good.
No, it was a good transition because everything and this is I had a little bit of a DMT trip for ACO DMT. Took a little bit too much, about 400 milligrams. It was only supposed to take 50. Didn't know that. Anyways, went down quite a psychological rabbit hole. And basically, all that was happening in my brain, I would consider it more so psychosis. But all that was happening in my brain was, it was like I knew that I was destined to be right where I'm at, and everything has already happened before, and everything that has already happened in my life has already happened before. And it even says this in the Bible. It says, what's the quote, Stevie? Anything that's happened under the sun has happened before and will be done again.
Yeah, it's like nothing changes under the
Nothing's
sun,
new.
pretty much. It's like
Nothing's
saying,
new.
yeah, like I guess what that kind of generalizes is like the human condition is in a way fixed. It's just the things that change over eras and you know
So speaking about
periods
the
of time and stuff.
generation, the names and the generations and the millennials and all this stuff, and I think it's already predestined. I think everything has already happened before, and I think it's happening again now. And the same thing has already happened. What we're going through right now has already happened. It's really trippy to. It
So
sounds ridiculous.
these are
It's
the
just our
thoughts that
version
you
of
were
it.
contemplating. These are or that was just racing in your head. You're just like,
Oh
dude,
man, I
this
was
is-
crying. I was crying because I was like, I thought I had it all figured out. And I'll be honest with you, and I tell that's people I've talked about it too. I've told them like I'm not gonna try to dissect this because it was so intense. Because I really think it was more so psychosis rather than like revelation or, you know, something like that. I really think it was more so psychosis. But the looking back on it and what I was experiencing during that trip, it really seemed extremely real. And I was crying. I was like, "This is." I thought about Terrence. I thought about Terrence Howard during my trip.
Oh, did you? Nice.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And I
Did you
thought,
remember the day you were born?
okay,
If it's
no,
real
no,
to the
no.
mind, it's real, brother.
No, no. Well, right, right. It was yeah. So the reason why I thought about Terrence Howard during my trip is because I thought about Eric Weinstein saying that if you and my wife has this tattoo on her stomach, which is crazy, but if you're looking at this geometrical shape and you can make so much of it, and then you can dive down this rabbit hole of infinite meaning and just get lost in it. And my wife has this tattoo on her stomach that says it's a Nietzsche quote that a man stares too long into the abyss will eventually stare back at you. And
That quote was about her butthole.
well, I won't no comment.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I during my trip, I know a normal person that has never experienced anything like that before, because I've experienced similar things, would think they're going to be stuck there forever. And it is not fun. And I don't recommend it to anybody, only the experienced. And yeah, it was like an ego death. It was a lot like Mike Tyson when you listen to Mike Tyson talk about the ego death and the feeling of dying. It was similar for sure. But at the same time, I did see geometric patterns that were quite incredible, that were breathing and waving, and yeah.
That's a
And the next day when you come out of it, I eventually, after
the next day,
I was babbling
how long
to myself.
did this go on for?
I had to go to work the next day. I was babbling to myself for hours. I was just sitting there going through everything in my head, going, oh, I figured it. I figured it out.
Oh my gosh.
So where was Christian during all this? That like
I was on the floor of my bedroom. She was laying in bed.
Nice.
I'm so sorry, Christian. That had to have been...
She felt very bad for me, and I told her multiple times during the whole process. I was like, I'm okay. She already knew what I was going through. She's like, she's seen it before, and she was just like, I don't ever want to live this lifestyle again. I don't want to go down that road. When I met her, we were both two little kind of hippies, more so her. And that's kind of how hippies are. They're like, yeah, let's have a good time and go down a spiritual journey. But yeah, doing something like that is I would consider it a spiritual journey. Don't do DMT. Don't do that. Just stay away.
Louis like, I'm not going to take your advice.
Yeah. Yeah. I told one of the guys.
Maybe had more to do with the dose you accidentally took.
Oh yeah. And also my mindset I was currently in. I've told people this all the time. I told my buddy one time, we were actually, it was a Saturday night and we were watching the fights, and I was on like 2 grams of shrooms or 3 grams of shrooms, and I was like having a great time and laughing, and I think I was drinking beers and having a fun time. I was having a great time, and he told me he's going through a breakup with his new girlfriend, and he was going through a divorce at the same time, so he was like really like not in a good headspace, and he was begging me to eat some shrooms. I was like, no, it's not a good idea. No, don't do that. And then he annoyed me. He's begging me. I was like, okay, here's a couple. I only gave him like barely any, like a gram. And then he ends up in my backyard, like hyperventilate, breathing into the wall, just babbling to himself. Like he just wasn't, when you're not in a good headspace, you don't want to go down. I mean, it'll bring to light everything you're stressed about in life. It'll really bring it to fruition, depending on how much you. Yeah, no. Yeah, you if you're going through it in life, it'll bring all that up. I mean, Louis, I think you'd be okay with the right people. I think like if us 3 did that, I think we would literally laugh for hours. I don't think we would have I mean, if we took the DMT, we would all be fucked. There's no coming out of that. There's no coming out of that. That's it doesn't matter who you are. You're done at that point. But shrooms is different. Shrooms is definitely different. Shrooms, if all 3 of us took shrooms,
we're gonna have to video it and record it, because
we would just literally when it hits you, what you do is you laugh for like 45 minutes straight. You cannot stop laughing. And then what it does is it dips off. So after you're done, you kind of come down. You're like, your face hurts, your stomach hurts, and then you come down, and then you feel the roller coaster go down, and you're like, okay, all right. And then you're looking at each other like crying still, and you're like, and then it goes back up, and you're like, they're laughing again. So shrooms are fun, but
incredible.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking about all the crazy theories that we would be stringing together.
Yes,
like we would. You know that meme from Always Sunny in Philadelphia where he's got like his murder board with all the strings.
Yes.
Oh my god. Oh my
yes,
god.
Yes.
Trying to be like.
He's got one hand on the board and he's got like a pen in his hand, and he's like, "Listen, listen." It's the dude from Pacific Rim, right? He was in Pacific Rim, I think. Yeah. Funny dude.
That would be us all day.
Yes. We'll bring a whiteboard out there, or a clipboard, or a little bulletin board. That's funny.
I think
man.
I'll be honest with you. I think the drug that would make us do that the best is Adderall.
Oh my
Us three,
gosh.
us three on Adderall, fucking
We
all
need to
night.
do
Just a
that
couple of beers, couple of cocktails, just on Adderall. Just we would have a pin board up. We'd be up for 2 days. We would have a freaking
Yeah.
pin board up like you
It
wouldn't
would
believe.
cover probably the entire interior space of a room. It would just be
Oh,
Yes.
all the
Oh.
walls.
And
Easy.
for each,
Yeah.
we could
Office
do like
Depot
4
would be like
episodes.
out of printer paper.
easy. And I already got the pins right here.
Yes, we do like 4 episodes.
I already have all the
and
ball
just
pins.
rotate the camera for each new episode.
Yeah.
We finally get some stuff done.
I already have all the ball
Oh,
pins
that's
right
funny.
here. This is what we'll need. You know, it's really funny. Side note, this right here, see that little, it's a pin. It's got the little ball, the little plastic ball. There was a helium balloon making conjuring noises in my ceiling, on my vaulted ceiling in my living room, and is scaring everybody.
Jeez.
And
Oh
well,
my
because you're sitting there like
God.
you're sitting there like watching TV, and it's like from
just hear, like,
Christian's baby shower party, and it's just like a helium
little-
balloon making conjuring noises on the walls, like. And then you're like, what? You look up and it's this little balloon. And I had I was like, I got a BB gun in the garage. And I'm like,
Just
I don't
take
have
that
any
thing out.
BBs. So I took one of the plastic pieces. I pulled one of these plastic pieces off of the pin and I put it in the BB gun and it worked perfectly.
Nice.
Perfectly
Nice.
shot that boy down. You know,
Sure.
ingenuity. Ingenuity at its
I'm
finest.
wondering if you put it in, but like face the needle,
With an-
like going outward.
Yes.
If it would like work that way, that'd be sick. dude.
Yes. it
I was
probably would.
thinking that, and then I also thought about it bouncing off and like landing in my eye or something.
You
So
just
I like
made me
didn't-
think. Like I've been
Yeah,
wanting
obviously
for
you
a
put on that
while. I've been wanting a salt gun. You ever see those
Oh,
salt
yeah.
guns and you just blast flies and
Flies.
little insects, dude?
Fucking hate flies.
Yeah. Oh man, that would be hilarious. The videos are
Yeah.
hilarious. I watched the
I want
videos.
a strong one.
Like
You know, they
slow
used to, didn't
motion
they used to
salt
put,
attack.
didn't the farmers used to put rock salt in the cartridges? Like they'd empty out the shotgun shells and put rock salt in it
Really?
to
Yes.
shoot people off their farm.
No way.
Intruders wouldn't
Intruders.
kill you, but it would sting like a mofo.
Yes.
Mofo.
Mofo.
I did run from one of them in New York one time.
Oh shoot. Oh, we got 7 viewers. What's up, everybody? What's going on?
What's up, gang? What you guys got to say? Shoot a comment in there. Come on, let's hear what you got to
Yeah,
say.
Yeah. Doing
If
Come
you're
on,
not
guys.
subscribed, subscribe. Because
Yes,
we have
please
35 subscribers,
sub to the channel.
7 viewers. So that's
Yeah, you
like,
guys, we're about to come in here sharp, guys. Like we're gonna blow up out of nowhere. You want to be one of the first to say, "Hey, I was one of the first people watching The Wiseman." You want to be one of those guys. Trust me, you do.
Yeah.
You do. It just is what it is.
Buy some of our stock. Just Venmo me money. I'll link my Venmo in the description.
We're going public next Saturday.
People just start sending me like money.
Dude, all these YouTubers, they have that like in the donate stuff so they can like they
Super
comment.
chats, man. Super chats.
The super chats.
Yeah.
Super chats. Jesse on Fire. All these guys have these super chats. It's like, dude, they make okay. Oh, dude, here's an interesting one. What's his name?
Dustin says he wants a T-shirt.
What
up,
kind of
Dustin?
T-shirt? You want a DeWiseman T-shirt?
Yeah.
Oh, we've
we
had
should come
comments. I
out
didn't
with
even
some.
know
with
we've
some
had a bunch of
merch.
comments. Counter Strike. Let's go. Nervous. Science. I have more info on the DoD school stuff. Oh, heck yeah, dude. Catfish doucheful. Let's go. Hard times create strong men. Good times create weak men. Weak men create hard times. Facts, Socrates. Facts, big dog.
so creates.
Socrates. Yeah, it's Socrates. I don't give a shite. 1775. Socrates was not alive back then, dog. It was AIDS. I was typing. The goal of
AIDS.
becoming a famous content creator has leaked into some third world countries. At least that's true in the Philippines. Interesting. Transition without hormones. When did we talk? What are we going on here? Catfish doucheful. Make
that was
makes-
when you transitioned, and I was like, "Oh, great transition!"
Yeah.
Oh.
And I was like,
transition without hormones. Okay, that's a funny one.
Yeah, it was
Good job, Socrates. Catfish doucheful makes being rich more realistic goal for some. When was that? What were we talking about?
That was in response to his leaked into third world countries.
Makes sense. I want a t-shirt. Dustin Sanders. Shout out to Dusty Sandy. I want a t-shirt. Where's the merch? Cash, 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 baby. Hey, merch is on its way, homie. We're dropping our first line next week. It's a shirt with it's Get Rich or Die Trying with Donald Trump's face on the front. That's what we're doing.
Nice.
And all of our faces in the background.
Yeah, we were in the crowd.
Louie and me are up on the roof. Louie and Stevie are up on the roof right here.
Oh my gosh.
Louie's like
water tower.
Oh man, that's a rough. Ooh. That's a risky T-shirt.
That's awesome.
That is a risky T-shirt. 100. Let's go.
Well, I think it was a good show. I think
it sucked.
I don't have anything else to talk about, but
I can tell.
I'm down to chat.
Keep chatting. What are we going? Where are we going from here?
What are we doing?
Okay, we're gonna do this.
We should probably cut this episode because
my camera's gonna fucking camera's gonna die.
Probably. So we're at.
Dude, I'm so surprised my camera's still alive.
50 minutes. Then, like when you said at the beginning of the episode, it was probably 50.
I looked at it. This is the only. I'll be honest with you. This is the only time it's not showing me battery bars, and I'm like, something's different here. Let's leave it at that.
Nice.
Let's leave her there.
Wow,
we're hour and 40 minutes. So
yeah.
Holy shit! Really?
I'd say we cut the episode and then we can just keep chit chatting if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys, you can find our extra content at gofuckyourself.com. And just sorry, guys. Don't go there. Don't go there.
I'm going to go there right now and see.
Yeah, it's probably
you just see me. It's me naked with like a dunce hat on.
That's
full
funny.
Of just covered in petroleum jelly.
So like that guy that was arrested today down the street from you?
You guys, I got to start doing YouTube. I got to start doing content on my neighborhood app. I just gotta start covering like every single day, all day long. I just see the craziest stuff on my neighborhood app. I can just scroll through it right now. It's hilarious. It's so funny. It's just ridiculous. Mostly cars, just people jacking cars, and they're all Hyundais and like Ford Lincolns. Okay, what do we got? GoFuckYourself.com. What do we got?
Yeah, it's actually GFY.com. And it's loading. I don't know.
What does that stand for?
Oh my gosh.
Go fuck yourself. This is a website. It's a forum.
Of course it is.
Nice.
Who has that domain? How much do they want for that domain name?
Who's the chairman?
I will pay them 1 glass of scotch.
It is
the
a
chairman,
forum.
Is it Dick Hurt?
Is it Richard Dixon?
Richard Hurt.
Richard Dixon?
There's a GFY educational series forum.
Wow.
GFY content market. Sell and buy.
Dude, there's furthering education in this. Go fuck yourself.
Fucking around and business discussion. There's a lot going on in here. I like this.
Fuck around and get fuck around and get fuck prizes.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
No, we had a good amount of viewers, man. We got 7. 7's pretty good. We're on the come up. 7's good for oh, what up, Mark?
Oh, did Mark finally just join?
Mark wants to be paid in scotch, he says.
Mark wants scotch tape for you, Mark. Scotch tape for you, Mark. Mark is so skinny and light, we could scotch tape him to the wall. That's how small he is. Gotcha, Mark. There's a Mark joke. Mark is not a marksman either. I took him out shooting a couple times. He's not a marksman.
No.
Sorry, Mark. Yeah. I'm just roasting him right now. Mark, roast me in the chat. Let's see what you got. Hurry up. Hit me. Come on. See what you got. Say something good, Mark.
There's a delay. We're going to have to wait.
Yeah.
10 minutes. He just has a paragraph just roasting my personal life.
Yeah, it's like the whole length of the screen.
He knows enough. He should be able to roast me at least a little bit here. Come on now. All right. Wait 5 minutes for Mark.
Oh, we got 8 viewers now. What up, chat? What up?
All right, here we
Appreciate
go.
all
What does
the
he
love.
got?
It's getting huge. It's getting
Won't
huge.
fight me though.
Won't fight me though.
Come on.
I've tried. I've somewhat gotten your face a couple times. Like that counts, right? Doesn't it? I've gotten everybody's face.
Yeah.
Never
got
popped
my
face.
You popped my rib once.
Well, that's because you scare me,
It's
Lewis. Not scared of Mark. No,
He says, Mark says, won't want to get you in the doghouse again.
Oh, that was kind of a burn. That was kind of a double. And then Christian laughs at
Christian's
that.
laughing. I love
That
it.
was kind of a. You wanna hear what happened? Mark said that I was commenting and flirting with all or I was saying that all of the women, the cocktail waitresses, word for word, all the cocktail waitresses, I was complimenting their boobs, word for word, all the cocktail waitresses.
To them or
That's what he said. And I had mentioned what happened. He didn't realize he texted this in the group chat. What really happened? We're sitting at the roulette table, and this lady with a big rack walks up, and she's literally like 55 years old. Like, she's the oldest cocktail waitress in the Durango, and she's a really nice lady. And she has just insane, like, big old bubblies, right? And I was like, geez, dude, this lady's like killing the game right now. And she's walking away, and I did not say it directly to her. And then Mark was over-exaggerated, didn't realize that he said it in the chat. And I'm kind of just trying to save myself. Moving on from the subject. Let's go. Moving on. Mark, fuck you. Anyways, let's go. Who wants to invest in XRP? XRP, anyone? XRP.
Oh, I'm ready for that thing to go up, boy.
XRP.
Like, how long do we wait? When it gets to 1,000, do we
I don't
cash in
know.
and hope, or
do
do
know.
we just ride the wave and
honestly,
hope it gets to 10?
if I get enough money to
Dustin said the blonde. Oh yeah,
did
Dustin go into the Durango with us? He did, obviously.
Dustin
right?
did, yes.
It's an older. She might be blonde, actually. Yeah, it was an older. She's definitely like towards her 60s. But yep, I'm sorry, Christian.
Gotcha.
She's not attractive.
We're gonna shut it down.
Let's cut
we'll
this
shut
off.
it down here. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Give us a shout out and follow us, like our stuff. Catch us on all social medias. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Hit that subscribe button before we end the stream, and we will catch y'all next time.
Thank
See
you, guys.
everybody.
Deuces.